people, welcome back to Food Glam Life. I hope you're doing very well, and today is extremely exciting because today is the first episode of this series that I'm starting, which is called This Is Life. And with me, I have my very first guest, a really good friend of mine. This is Taimur Malik. He's a functional strength and performance coach, a personal trainer. He was a co-founder of Forme Fitness. It's a gym in Islamabad, which has been
about 4 years.
4 years, where he's done classes and personal training. And we're here with him because we're specifically going to be answering the questions that you had related to health, fitness, exercise, etc., etc. So I'm going to hand it over to Taimur, who's going to sort of tell us what is functional strength. What is it?
Functional strength. Normally when you train in the gym, you only adapt to the training exercise in the gym. So there's no carryover to real life. Functional strength is a kind of training in which you don't just get better at the gym, you get better outside of the gym as well. So it carries over to your daily life as well.
Okay. So basically your exercises are working long term.
Yeah, they're working outside of the gym as well. Generally, when you train in the gym, an exercise you keep on repetitively doing, you just get better at that because your body adapts to that exercise. Functional mein hota hai, it's more functional, so it carries over to your real life. You move better in real life.
I guess that's really interesting because a lot of times people have this, they're working out, but they're getting used to it. They feel like, okay, fine, I'm working out, I'm becoming better, but kuch ho nahi raha hota hai. There's no like long-term impact.
Yeah.
Would you say that there are certain exercises that we're doing that are ineffective? Like I've heard like ab crunches.
Yeah.
They're really ineffective. They actually hurt your back and they're really popular. So are there like exercises like that you say, don't recommend your clients to do?
It depends on the level of the client. Crunches can be bad for you, but not necessarily. But mostly people do crunches to get rid of their belly fat. That's the wrong way to approach it actually. Your body doesn't burn fat by any targeted approach. Fitness has no wrongs and rights. It's just that people are just not patient enough. They don't have the consistency to train. The biggest secret to actually training success is consistency. Day in, day out, year in, year out. But people that are short-sighted, they only look at something, they need a quick fix, like a specific program. No matter what you do, if you don't do it long enough, you're not going to get any results.
So what is that sweet spot? Like how many days a week should you be training or doing your exercise? How long would you need to get results?
Results varies from person to person, but there is no sweet spot. You could train 20 minutes a day, 5 times a week. You could train like half an hour as well. People generally, when they start training, they always make it a big deal out of it. They think they have to train 2 hours a day, 5 times a week. That's why they don't stay on the course for long, because they just lose hope. They give it everything and it just finishes up. You don't have to make a big mountain out of it. Sometimes when I'm like not training, I train twice a week, but I still have to train. It has to be in your mindset to keep on training regularly.
So regular can be even from like once a week.
It could be even once a week. Sometimes you're busy, you don't have time, you do once a week. But then when you have time, you do five times a week. It depends on you.
So ideally 5 times a week?
Ideally 4 to 5 times a week.
4 to 5 times a week.
Not 7 days a week, definitely.
Okay, so I have like a whole bunch of questions. Someone said, how do I lose belly fat without diet and exercise? How do I lose weight without moving my lazy ass? I have no time to exercise. What can I do? So it basically seems like a lot of people really avoid or hate
putting
exercise.
in the work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to put in the work, but they want the results. Yeah, that doesn't work. It's not going to help out. There's no solution to that.
So how do you, sometimes what happens is like you lose motivation because, you're trying, and I know this has happened with me as well. Like you go and you're trying and you're not getting results. It's been a while, or people just don't have, they're not interested. They hate exercise.
We always say discipline over motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline always remains. You have to train yourself to be disciplined. Discipline means you have to do it even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Motivation is that you want to do it because you're just motivated to make. There's a wave of motivation in you, but that motivation will never last. Right? It'll go away. Only discipline keeps you from being consistent, not motivation.
As a personal trainer, are you like really like rough and tough on your clients, or do you go
Actually, initially I'm very lenient on them. But once I can assess their level and once they become better, then there's no excuse for them to actually slack off. But even as a personal trainer, I always tell my clients that you cannot rely on me forever, because training has to be sustainable. Sustainable means you should be able to do it for a long duration of time, right? So personal training is also a crutch, right? If you support anyone, you have to learn to train independently. People always say, oh, we need a partner, we need this. But then you're again relying on someone. If that won't show up, you're not going to train. So you have to learn to actually train yourself. without needing anyone. Eventually that should be the goal, because that's the only way you're going to train for the rest of your life, which you have to if you want results. You can't do it for 3 months and leave it, 4 months, leave it.
What would you say is the most effective exercise for women? Is there a difference, first of all, is there a difference between exercise movements for women and men?
No.
No?
No. We're the same species actually. So there's no actually difference. There's no one specific exercise that you is effective, but you can always do compound exercises, which are squats, deadlifts, military press, pull-ups.
And you said you train more with kettlebells.
Yeah.
Because
that's the greatest tool ever. That's an opinion, right? That's why I can't like lay it out like that. But if anyone wants to really get fit and strong, they have to use a kettlebell. There's no tool like the kettlebell available at all.
Are they available in Pakistan, like easily available?
They are, but people don't know how to use them. They think it's a dumbbell with a handle on top.
So there's like a very specific way of using it.
Yeah.
So you do need like a trainer to tell you.
Kettlebell is a practice. It's not even Russians hate calling it a workout. They call it a practice or a lesson. There's a lot of other nervous systems to your body unconsciously, the movements, and you have to keep on practicing it to get better and better.
If you don't have that, then a dumbbell would work.
Instead?
Yeah.
Not really, but it can if you don't have that. The thing is, uska weight offset hota hai.
Okay.
Dumbbell, the weight is on your palm. That's the biggest thing with kettlebell. The weight is like away from you, so it changes the whole dynamics.
So, but then again, that's something that needs to be taught.
Yeah.
And it's not that commonly used even within the gyms, right? So it is like a specialized form, at least in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me this: is there a time of day that is better or more effective to exercise?
So there are different opinions on this, but if you're someone who wakes up at 8 a.m., the range will be like anywhere between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Because that's the time when your your hormone levels are completely like.
Because I've noticed with myself that I'm not a morning person, so I can't train in. I don't feel good. I'm much better in the evening.
Yeah, that's person to person thing. Some people like to train in the morning. And it suits them, right? But overall, if you look at it, just research-wise, it's better to train in the day, like 2 to 5 to 3, man.
Okay.
Because your glucose level, everything is more stabilized during that time.
So 2 to 5, that's
But if you wake up at like 8 a.m., that's always linked to when you wake up, what's your waking time. So right in the middle, basically, right?
Okay.
Not too early, not
day.
before. But the worst is to like right before, like 9 p.m. or something.
Okay, so this is a really important question. What if I can't afford a personal trainer or even like a gym membership?
Just do bodyweight exercises. Just go on YouTube and search bodyweight exercises or bodyweight workouts, and they'll tell you like bodyweight workouts. Go for a run. Start with a kilometer, and then 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 5 kilometer runs.
Do you recommend strength training over cardio, or it doesn't matter? Because like I keep hearing these different things. Cardio is not effective. People keep doing cardio. You need to do strength because it burns, even after you're done working out. What's the big mystery in this?
Strength is actually the most important value. Makes other values possible. So there's no doubt about that. This whole discussion between cardio and strength, sure, you can also gain endurance and work capacity by doing strength training. People just have this in their mind that cardio is like doing treadmills and all that stuff. For example, look at the kettlebell. It is a tool which will make your work capacity go through the roof. You will be able to run 10Ks, 20Ks without a problem, but you're not actually running. You're not actually doing cardio. So we'll just put it in those ways. But be strong is the most important. That's the biggest priority when you go to the gym. Regardless if you're a man or a woman or whatever your goal is, being strong is the most important factor. When you're strong, your ability to do other things increases. So you can always focus on other things. So strength training is always the biggest priority. Then you can do other things as a variation. Okay,
so we have a question regarding time. So if someone has, let's say, 15 minutes that they're saying maximum I can dedicate to exercise, what would you say, how can they maximize those 15 minutes to have the most effective exercise period?
Just do kettlebell training.
Kettlebell training. Okay, so now you have to explain to us what kettlebell training is, and also we're going to insert a video right here of probably them working out with kettlebell, so you understand what it is.
Kettlebell workouts are generally very short. That's a really good thing. Another plus thing about it, that they're very short workouts. You don't have to train for very long with the kettlebell. But because you don't have to go at another place, it's constant movement is super intense. But it trains the whole body as one unit. So you just keep on going. Your cardio, your strength will increase.
How is it training your legs and your torso?
Because you do squats and all. You do lunges. Okay. It's just on you, right? So you could keep, and it's unilateral. So you train one side of the body at one time. So it also irons out your weaknesses. Generally, when it's like whole bodies working together, the dominant side will help the less dominant side, right? It will do more of the work. In kettlebell, it doesn't happen. You switch from side to side.
Okay. And it's available in Pakistan and
Yeah, you can go to sports stores and buy them.
So when someone's starting out, what's the weight level that they should be?
Women could start with 8 and men could start with 12.
If I'm thinking 8 kg, if I was using dumbbells, I would think that's really heavy.
And kettlebells, you're not isolating your muscle. In dumbbells, what happens is you isolate a muscle and keep on working that muscle out. So obviously that muscle is alone and you'll be picking up all the weight, so 8 seems heavy. In kettlebell, many muscles work together, so when you're together, obviously you can generate more force. The whole concept of kettlebell is that the whole body works together as one unit. It's not separated, it's not segregated, legs, back, chest. That's an old model. Your body biologically is one connected piece of machinery. It is not separated. So you have to train it as one piece.
So it's not like leg day and arm day today. It's not
but
like,
although you train all of them, but you train them in one workout. It's total body training. You don't train them separately.
And you can just do that at home as well?
Yeah.
Like you just...
Easily.
Interesting. Maybe I should get one. Okay. Someone had a very different kind of question. They said, how can I gain muscle and increase my weight?
Well, to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. That means the amount of calories you're taking should be less than the amount you're expending.
So we need to what? Like count the calories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for gaining weight is the opposite. You have to be calorie surplus. So you're eating more, you're expending less. But you have to, obviously with that, you have to do specific form of training. Strength will be the priority.
So if you're doing kettlebell training, how many calories are you burning?
So kettlebell workout burns 20 calories a minute, which is the most by anything. Even the rowing machine, which is second, burns about 12 calories a minute. So in kettlebell, you can burn like 1200 calories in an hour, or burn like a ridiculous amount of calories in half an hour.
So that's something that you recommend all your clients to be doing?
Kettlebell?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I coach them first. Kettlebell also requires some safety as well as some moving weight. So
yeah, I was going to ask you, is there a chance of like hitting yourself in the face?
No, not hitting yourself, but you still have to learn the kettlebell. The hip is where it originates from, the energy of the kettlebell, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to have better form at the hip.
I mean, I'm sure at some point you were doing the typical sort of exercises that everyone does and says. At what point did you change your view about this and decide that no, okay, I want to do kettlebell and suspension training, and this is what's more effective?
I've done all sorts of other training, but kettlebell, when I just started training with it, when I read up about it, how it changed my fitness, then that's the time when I actually thought that this is...
Most people, I keep hearing circuit training.
Yeah.
Explain circuit training.
So there's station training, because conventional training is station training, right? You go to a station, which could be like a bench press, and you do your exercises there. Then you go to another station and you do the exercises there, right? Mm-hmm. So you keep on moving, but you do a certain amount of sets over there at a certain station. Circuit training, where there you choose about 6 different stations, and you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you rest. So you do one exercise, and then you hop to, so it's called circuit.
Okay.
You're not doing station training, circuit training. Mm-hmm. It's very good for fat loss. It's a very good training tool. But even the kettlebell is circuit training, but here's the difference. In circuit training, you will still get some respite or some rest because by walking from one station to the other. The kettlebell flows in your hands. They're called flows, kettlebell flows. So you don't have to move. That makes it far more challenging because without even getting that 10-second break of moving somewhere else, you completely shift to another exercise.
What do you have to say about these like fat loss challenge, 40-day fat loss challenge, 30-day challenge? Do those work? Are those effective?
They'll only work if you keep on doing them. Again, sustainability is the most important thing. They're unsustainable. You do it for 40, 42 days. Then you'll, if you keep on training, it's fine, but then people always lose interest in that as well, right?
Okay, so that also leads me to my other question is like, do you recommend having the same routine every day, or should you be changing it up, and why or why not?
Not every day, but you should keep a routine for like 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. It depends on what program you're on. You can't change it every day.
When you say program, depends what program you're on. What do you mean by that?
So you have to be in a specific program, right? People just move how gym chale jate, right? That's not how you're supposed to do it.
Okay.
In anything, actually, you have to have a certain program that you're doing, right? So in training as well, whether it's 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 10 weeks, you have to have a program. You have to have it written down. A lot of people don't realize the value of that.
Really?
You have to have it written down so that you can also look back later on and see your numbers and how far you've come.
Okay. And what do you mean by numbers? Like, what is most important to gauge? Is it weight? Is it inches? Is it combination of both?
They're different. For example, if you're doing strength, then you're seeing what weight you're doing, what your 1 RMs are, and what your those are. If you're doing endurance, then you see how many reps your rep scheme is. If you're looking at body composition, then obviously then you look at your inches, your measurements, which are more important than weight.
So it's important to start out slow. And would you say it's like you should have lower expectations? Like how do you manage your expectations? Again, we come back to that thing where people are like, okay, I'm going to the gym, I'm gonna,
Yeah, you should have lower expectations. You should just train just like that, without any expectation. I mean, you should have goals, but you should have that mindset of just training consistently throughout. There's no end goal, there's no end for it. People just think that they train for 2 months and then they're going to fit and they're going to remain fit for the rest of their lives.
So it has to be like a lifestyle change, like it needs to be there constantly. Are there certain supplements that you recommend that while you're working out that you should be taking?
Well, fish oil and probiotics are the only
like
ones
something
that
like protein or...
No, protein is essential, but only post-workout. Generally, your protein you should be having from whole foods.
Okay.
The problem is when people go on protein shakes, they start doing it 3 times a day, right? That's not really healthy because it is still denatured.
What about diet? Something like 3-day detox, and then also the trend diets, like there's paleo, there's
but paleo is not actually a trend diet. It's been around. It has got a lot of research on it at the background as well. Even keto works really well as well. The thing is, everyone has to find what works for them, but it will only work if you do it consistently. These ways in which you try to manipulate the system into inducing a result, it doesn't work. Your body is too smart. It's seen so many different phases. It's called catch it off guard, and then when it responds, it'll respond in a much fiercer way. So generally, like diets, when you talk about diets, just complete calorie restriction, that's not really good as well, because that down regulates your metabolism and it starts storing fat because your body is built for survival. It only cares about survival, right?
Yeah.
So it'll counter all this.
And then you bounce back, like once you stop doing it.
These stop-start things are actually, this throws the body into a roller coaster, and that's actually very bad for health, right?
What are the really bad diets?
Any diet which is like really low calorie, right?
Okay.
Like 500 calories, say, if you go lower than that. And any diet which is actually low in protein.
I guess that pretty much does most of the questions. Is there anything that you would say, like, that people should know or they should have a takeaway from this?
So basically, there are no shortcuts. So the biggest secret to training success, or if you want to achieve your goal, is actually consistency, which people don't have, and patience, which people don't have.
What's the ideal time? Like if someone's like, okay, today I'm deciding I'm going to make a change. How much time should they be putting in? Like,
just keep it to 45 minutes, but 45 minutes of focused training. You learn about your body more than anyone else, right? So, but that will take time. That's the biggest takeaway. Time, patience. That's what you need.
And is it better to do a class, or is it better to do like your own or with a trainer or whatever to start you off?
You can do a class because you're more motivated that way, but it's good to always change it around because, again, to keep it interesting, you should 1 month do a class, 1 month do it on your own, 1 month do it with a personal trainer.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like a lot of new information because there's certain things that we've always been drilled in about exercise, You're always told, oh, you need to work out 5 days a week for 1 hour at least. And you hear people like working out for 2 hours. And basically, you need to stay focused.
Yeah.
You need to be dedicated to it and you need to have discipline. Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah. Small steps are better in the long duration of time. So slow and long better than hard and fast,
Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone once again. Thank you for being here. Thank you to you for sending in your questions and hanging out. I'm going to be linking Taimur's Instagram handle.
Sure.
And how can they get in touch with you in case they have any questions or anything?
Just DM me.
You guys can DM him, follow him on Instagram. And other than that, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Take care and goodbye.